the show, in the vans. Oh, in the vans. Ay, ay, ay. Oh. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are still moving on the 1000 SP Auto Union build that's going down over a 1959 Volkswagen Beetle Pan. Much like the 1960 BMW 700 Sport Coupe, quite different to be honest. Although this car and that car are both 1960 German manufactured fin-tail cars with factory pop-out side windows, which I think is just the coolest thing ever. Now, in the last episode, you saw a giant leap in frame design, frame building, fabrication, and ultimately support its own weight over the pan. So we've got our cross member in. We've got the rear body mounts on the backside of the cross member. We've got our frame rails in, and we have a portion of the front built. We have a crossbar spanning the firewall under the steering column, and we have some radius arms holding the actual weight of the front right now. This is just the beginning of what will be the front half of the body. We still want to mount to our beam up front here, and we need the frame in where we're going to ultimately have a fuel cell. So in this episode, we're going to continue working connecting the frame from the frame rails up the sills to the front half here. I'm going to work on that next. But also in the last couple of episodes, you may have noticed the boxes that are behind me under the CNC table. Airlift Performance have come on board to help out with this project, and they've sent over everything we're going to need to get this car bagged to pair with the EvaResto suspension that we've got underneath this body on the Beetle Pan already. All right, guys, so I'm trying to be a little bit more professional, high quality production set thing here. This is what we're going to be putting in the 1000 SP from our friends at Airlift Performance. Now, most of you guys may already know that I run the Airlift 3P management system in both the Corvair and the BMW 700. I also ran this management with the height sensors, making it the 3H system in my right-hand drive 7 Series, as well as my Russian Lada, and I've had the 3P system in a few other of my personal cars as well. So I've had these boxes sitting underneath the CNC table for weeks now, and we're finally unboxing it. So this is what our friends at Airlift Performance have sent us for the 1000 SP. Starting with the hardware, all I needed from Airlift Performance was the rear universal airbags. This is the 2B-6, which is what Max from EvaResto in England provides with his bolt-in Beetle bag kit, which is what we're using on the 1000 SP. What we don't have from Airlift are the front bags, because Max from EvaResto custom builds the sleeve bags that go in the front for his narrowed and bagged beams. So to move to the management of the Airlift system, this is the 3P/3H manifold. This is basically the epicenter of the air suspension system. You guys have seen me use this a lot in cars. The system is super easy to wire in. It's the easiest harness to run out of any air suspension management system. But the best upgrade for the 3P system is moving to the 3H system. Airlift allows you to upgrade to the 3H system, which stands for height, and you get height sensors. And all the air is going to be coming from this ViaAir 444 compressor in all black, obviously. Since ViaAir gives you an option for all black, you know that's exactly what we're going with. So as far as tanks go, this is my first time out of tons of cars that I've bagged, this is the first time I'm running a Flow Air tank. This is a modular tank. My friend Mike Alexander started Flow years ago and has now become a part of Airlift Performance. So huge shout out to Mike for all the help with this project. But I am super excited to run a Flow tank. They're just so pretty with their billet end caps, all the leg adjustability. You'll see here all the threaded ports all the way around the tank, and the adjustability you have with the billet legs as well. So last but not least, we've got some gear. Airlift sent some important gear. We have a couple shop banners. We're gonna hang these up in the shop. Super stoked on these. They're small enough to where we can put one on either end of the shop. We've got a couple plate frames, a couple of lanyards. Definitely have a handful of these from previous SEMAs, and a zip-up hoodie. This will hopefully not be a shop shirt sooner than later. Hopefully we'll keep this one nice. But that's our haul from Airlift Performance. I am so excited to be working with these guys again on this project. They've helped out with so many of my previous cars. Okay, so I was doing a little bit of arts and crafts before filming the episode, and came up with this shape here to essentially extend our 2" by 2" box frame rails that we've put in. And as you can see here, up by the footwell and the wheel well, it makes a little bit more than a 45-degree angle. And I've got a piece of 1" square clamped to what we have already started the frame in on the front. I want to tie everything in. The whole point of this is to tie everything all in together. So that's relatively the shape that we want for our 2" box tubing. So I just cut 2 pieces of 8" box tube, basically the length we need to make these shapes out of. Well, we got both sides tacked in. I set the body down earlier before I tacked them in just to make sure that these didn't stick out too far and hit the actual floor pans. And they didn't. Pretty stoked on how they fit. All right, guys, took a break and have been getting some welding done. Started welding in the bottoms of the frame rails, at least a handful of welds on both sides. And really just trying to get a handful of really good supported welds on the bottom of these. And then I'll drop the body down, do the same on the top. And then from there, I'll feel like I'm in a better place to finish weld up our seams here, to build up off of our end of our frame rail here, and ultimately connect with our front body mount here. So basically getting from here to here. So what I've done now, just for mock-up and visual purpose, is I've clamped some 1" square stock down these lips. Same angle along the footwell of the car. And I've done the same over here. But I'm gonna set the body down now that I have those clamped in and just see what I wanna do visually once it's down over the floor pan of the Beetle and connecting here to here. All right, guys, so what I'm thinking for connecting the frame rails to our front half of the frame is kind of this layout. Now that there is our forwardmost pan body mount, with the exception of the 2 on the beam. And I'm really happy I made those mounts as wide as I did. And I did that just in case I needed to land another piece of 1" square on the other side of the bolt. And it looks like that's exactly what I'm gonna wanna do. So I've angle cut this to tuck that into the corner. This is 1/8" wall, 1" square. Most of the front half I've done so far is 14 gauge, which is a little bit thinner, but still strong, especially when you gusset and put bends in. These pieces here are 11 gauge, just about 1/8. Reinforcing them at the front of our frame rails and wrapping them around to the inner part of the plate that goes to the body mount, and down this lip here to triangulate to our arms that go down to the body mount. Just like this one that's clamped in place, what I'm thinking of doing is going to the computer and designing a plate that can get welded to the top of this, that this piece can get angle cut and welded right to the top of. And then these pieces that will come down the old footwell of the body will connect up here, strengthening all of that. That'll make this whole corner super strong, but also with these bends and gussets, be able to withstand shock load. If you were to envision the car going down the road at 60 miles an hour and hitting a bridge expansion joint, what that would do for all the shock load to everything. So I kind of like using radiuses, bends. Bends make things stronger, gussets. I don't mind overbuilding this thing. I really don't. Normally, this is where the Beetle pedal cluster mounts. And as I've mentioned in previous episodes, the body layout sets you so much farther back. You can see where the front seat rails for the Beetle sit, and it's way in under the dash. So we're going to be sitting literally into the rear footwell tub of the pan, and we're going to ultimately bring a pedal cluster way back. Like, we're not going to use that front corner where the Napoleon hat is at all. So having this bar come out here, spanning the top of the ridge of the floor pan, even though it floats over the floor itself, we can always seal that up. That's not going to interfere with where we need to put our pedals, because I'm probably going to buy like a Baja pedal cluster or something like that to mount farther up the tunnel or down the tunnel. All right, well, I capped both ends of these support bars that come off from the frame rails. I just cut some 7/8 by 7/8 3/16 plate that could cover that 1-inch eighth wall tubing. Welded it up, grinded it down just to plug that end to ensure nothing got in there. What I've done is I've put the whole body down over the pan. We're free of the lift arms. All the mounts are tight, the two front, the two rear, so nothing will move on the body. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tack weld those in, make sure everything's still where I want it. And then from there, we'll cross the bridge of how to CAD design some gussets for those 45-degree angle support bars that'll come down off the firewall. All right, so I have been on the computer cutting cardboard pieces that I think I landed on the one I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do with this piece is I want to strengthen those new bars we just put in to our front mounts. And the 1-inch triangulated braces that I want to put down this lip that I already showed you guys, I want that to go to this somehow. I've cut this piece that is definitely not symmetrical in any way, and putting this onto the computer was not easy. But this is my thought process right here. Now the whole plan is to allow this to sit just inside the lip of this bar so I can fill it with weld, just as strong as can be. I'm gonna make it out of 1/4-inch thick plate, flipping it over and mirroring it. Worked over here because somehow I kind of figured out what I was doing and made these two bars symmetrical with their bends. So that's my thought there. We'll go to the CNC table. Once again, refresh my memory on converting DXF to G-code with sheet cam. I already have some 1/4-inch plates still on the table. Let's fire up the laptop and we'll CNC cut some more components. I like that we're putting a plan together. I like that. Like, staring into a vacant void of this car, not knowing what to do and where is the worst part. But once you get kind of like a decent idea put together and you start moving, it feels like you're actually making progress. heavy it is. Oh, got it. The quality of the cut is just insane. All right, well, cut one done. Let's get one more cut. All right, guys, we got both of our plates cut out pretty quickly, too. I must say, that's the quickest and easiest cut without any problems, beginning to end, that I've done on the CNC plasma table yet. So we're getting there. We're getting efficient. Sooner than later, we'll be efficient. So let's see here. Yeah, I like that. Essentially, we'll sit right about there. All right, well, I just checked my wire, and I am literally 2 welds away from being out, and I only bought 1 spool, like an idiot. So I'm gonna tack both of these in, and then we'll go get another spool, 2 spools of wire, because we're just about out. Okay, so now that we have the plates welded in, we can go to the support bars that are going to basically triangulate this whole conjunction of the frame. And I've already got 1 angle cut. This goes up into the top. And what I was just doing now is figuring out the angle of the bottom. So all I got to do now is figure out my length, and we'll scribe that angle. Make sure we don't cut it in the wrong direction. All right, well, I got the first one cut. I took it to the belt sander a few times to just kind of massage the end there. Test fit it a few times, and it looks like we are locked in. Love that. In the shoe, in the vans. Oh, in the vans. Ay, ay, ay. It's bound to happen. Ooh. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it there for this episode. Got a whole bunch done on the frame, made it so much more strong. I was able to dial in the front mounts a little bit better. We are overbuilt in this front end, I believe, and I'm okay with it. I didn't plug weld these yet. I didn't finish weld. You know, there's still some finish welding to be done, but plates are all welded in, top and bottom. Triangulated bars are welded in all around. There's plenty of things to be sealed up yet. I'm really quite pleased with the design too. I think it's gonna be strong. I don't think there's any need for gussets up in here. So sorry guys, probably no spider webs, but I think this is gonna be plenty strong enough. Well, if you guys are seeing this on the Sunday that this episode goes live, I am currently in Northern California with only 1 day left to prep the 7 Series, the E23, for the road trip down to Southern Utah to the desert for the Overcrest Rally, and then the cross-country drive back here to Chattanooga, Tennessee after the rally. So as you're seeing this, I am again in the throes of it. So much to do in such a little time. Hoping I packed everything I needed. Kayla is going with me on this trip. So please stay tuned for the following episodes. I don't know how many episodes I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna try to do a bunch because I'd like to talk to friends about their projects, where they came from, what their road trip was like getting to Utah. So again, the 1000 SP, we are making progress, and it is much needed progress. I am still trying to take this with the BMW 700 all the way up to St. John, New Brunswick, Canada, for the Complex Union Show roll call at the end of July. So as we see it, we have 2.5 months to get this thing ready enough. I don't want to say done, but we need it rolling. We need it airing up and down. We need it on wheels, which I still haven't been able to find yet. Oh, 2.5 months is going to go by so fast, but we've got a lot of progress done. We're working our way towards the front, then we'll have to work our way towards the back, front half and back half of this car. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm learning a lot while I'm doing this too. If you guys want to see a bunch of behind the scenes content and some stuff that I'm not posting on Instagram or here, consider subscribing to the Patreon. The link is in the video's description below. It helps the shop and this channel grow in a massive way. So hope to see you guys over on the Patreon for all of that content. Your support means so much to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next episode.